Thank you again for joining us here on the YouTube channel Realty Talk. Something that I'm learning about going through this process of sharing information on this channel is, a very personal note. Like many of us, we have a lot of different chapters in our lives. And this chapter of my life, I'm learning that, I really do enjoy sharing. And, and, and it's a way of paying it forward because after 30 plus years in this industry, yeah, some of us can come on camera and just talk. Though, on a personal note, again, I like to share that, I do appreciate you watching because it gives me the benefit to pay it forward and contribute. Even if we don't work together, hopefully, wherever you watch this video from, if you are going to do something relating to real estate, from watching these videos, you can carry on a conversation with agent, a good agent in your local neighborhood that can help you. And you can, again, have that direct conversation as to what you're looking to do based on what you hear and get some ideas from these videos. So I do appreciate you joining and giving me the opportunity to be able to share this information. Okay, so we recently wrapped up a probate series. Now, as if you went through that series, it's not an exciting topic. Again, it's something that's inevitable for all of us in this human experience, that one day we'll get to that point, either of someone leaving a legacy or someone receiving a legacy from a loved one. And hopefully you finish watching that series. If you have not, I encourage you to, watch those videos. You can find them on this channel and really, go through the whole process of understanding and learning, right? Now, I do have a surprise for you on that series, which, we're taking a little detour here, which I'll mention in a moment here, though. We will be posting a video on client testimonials relating to probate, because one thing is that someone stands in front of a camera like I do in many other videos where we talk about probate. It's very different when you hear from someone, actual family members, actual clients that have gone through probate. So we have reached out to some of our clients here at Casa Bella Realty Group that have gone through these processes, and they're going to share from what their experience has been, the good, bad, and the ugly. So look out for that remaining video on probate. Though the detour we're taking now is where I have the opportunity to introduce to you another department that we have here at Casa Bella Realty. Outside of the probate service department, we also have a relocation service department. And you may be asking, why a department designated for relocations? And that's a great question. And, I do have some notes here because this is going to be an introductory video to a new series for relocation services. And I want to make sure I don't miss anything. And right now, the statistics, and if anyone is true and very committed to this industry, we study the statistics every day. Again, not for the sake of knowing something, because again, information nowadays is a commodity, right? Anyone and everyone could know something. Personally, I study these statistics, sorry, statistics, tongue twister for me, to see how we can better serve our community. Because understanding trends and understanding what's going on locally as well as abroad or nationwide, it puts us in a position to give better service. So right now, statistically, the buyer, we would say close to 80% of the buyers nationwide are in their 60s. Now, this is a big change because for a long time prior to COVID or up to COVID, buyers were predominantly first-time buyers, right? A good percentage, a larger percentage were first-time buyers. Now we're finding that predominantly the buyer right now are in their 60s, whereas before first-time buyers were probably in their early 30s, right? So what does this tell us? these buyers are in most cases relocation buyers, meaning that they're selling a property at a certain place, certain area, and they're moving elsewhere. Okay, it could be elsewhere, staying locally, or elsewhere, different parts of the state of California, which we're located, or uh, different states. Okay, so this is why we've set up a relocation service department, and each of our agents that work in this department are specialized in this area because there's a different criteria needed in working with a client of this nature because there's a lot of moving parts, not only laws, tax codes, but also, I mean, actual moving parts, right? The moving in itself, and contracts, and a lot going on, right? Uprooting and then planning your roots elsewhere takes a lot of effort, a lot of courage on your part. So here we believe that the least we can do to match your courage is to make sure that anyone that works in this department specializes to be able to really cater to your needs during this challenge of really meeting your expectations. All right, so let's talk about maybe two good reasons why a lot of people are doing this right now. And again, this is statistically speaking, like I said, the majority of buyers are in their 60s, and most of them are relocating. And there may be two good reasons for this. Oh, the first is Proposition 19. Today's an introductory video, so I'm not going to go too in depth. Future videos will break down these different items I'm going to mention here. Though, just in a nutshell, Prop 19 allows you to transfer your current property tax value to a different county here in California. We have 58 counties in California. You would be able to move to any county within the state of California and transfer your current property tax amount to your next property. And I think that's a great benefit because you can, really plan and budget, understanding that your tax amount is going to be very similar to what you have now, right? As far as property tax. The second item that may be causing people to make a move now is Section 121, right? And what this is an exemption up to 500,000 that's not taxed at the capital gains rate. Okay, this is a big benefit, and a lot of people with what's going on in the financial world, economics part, political part, however, whichever side you're on, we're not sure how long these exemptions may last. They may be brought down. That's happening in other areas of real estate. So here under Section 121, right now you can take that exemption up to $500,000 tax-free, pretty much, no capital gain. So I think those two are very powerful. And one more is there's less competition because most people in this age range that have owned their property maybe 20, 25, 30 years, they're paid for. There's no mortgage. They own their property outright, free and clear, as we call it in our industry. And transferring that equity to another property, not having to worry whatever's happening in the mortgage rates, is a big benefit. There's a lot of individuals that are really concerned about the rates, right? If what they have now in comparison to what they may get, and that does have to be weighed out. And we will cover that in this series of maybe some good reasons to look at that. And even if it doesn't make sense on the rate, it may make sense in other areas. So we'll cover that in detail. But again, most people right now that have their property paid for free and clear, they don't have to worry about that. So there's less competition of buyers right now because others have to worry about the rate. So I would say those are three good reasons that maybe are leading to that statistic that the number one category of buyers are in their 60s. All right, so let me warm you up to other topics that we're going to cover in this series. And each of these videos, we may combine two topics. We may have one video for one topic. What I encourage you to do is to continue watching. Even if you're not planning to do anything right now, you may have a loved one, a relative, a friend, and you can forward these videos to them because I know there's a lot of information out there on the internet. I mean, if you're watching this, you're on the internet now, though it's very different, static information to having experience, knowledge, and what we call dynamic information. It can change. And when you're working with specialized people like we have here in a relocation department, like we have our probate department, our job is to stay current with all the changes. So this is not static. It's very dynamic, right? If things change, we'll let you know when those changes take place. So feel free to share or hold on to these videos so when you're planning to do something, you'll be better equipped with the necessary information. Okay, so here are some of the topics. We will roll out a lot of good detailed information as to what's called our all-inclusive relocation package. And this is a big plus because nowadays a lot of companies nickel and dime. We'll roll out actual numbers, services of what we do to help you with this. So you can have a behind the scenes look as to what it takes to help you relocate and how we can help you save money, right? Next, we're going to be covering, all the different people involved. One of the reasons real estate is such a hot topic, it's because when one person buys a property or sells a property, there's direct jobs that are affected, between 32 to 36 jobs that are directly affected. There's a lot of people involved in a move. And sometimes we think it's the real estate agent alone. No, if it's a good agent working on in a good company with a specialized department like we do, we'll introduce you to all the different people as far as the roles and responsibilities involved to help you relocate. And I think that's key to know. That way, when you do make a move, either with us or anyone else, you have a better understanding and appreciation of what the different roles are and what are those responsibilities. And this way, you can keep people more accountable to those roles. Another item we're going to cover is contingency periods. When someone is selling, as some of you already bought and sold properties, if you're watching this, there's contingency periods. These are contracts we're dealing with. And just last year, a lot of the contracts here in California, which we use is California-based contracts, there's been a lot of changes. And so even if you bought 10, 20, 30 years ago, and you've bought and sold a few properties, again, congratulations on that. Though today is very different than what it was back then. So contingency periods and how they're managed by your real estate agent and yourself is very important. Contingencies on selling a property as well as contingencies on buying a property, because contractually this will protect you on both ends, on the sell and the buy. So we'll go into more details on that particular video. Another item we're going to cover is the different types of relocations, right? Some people are relocating to downsize, save money, right, on utilities or a different neighborhood because the cost of living is less, right? Now there's maybe someone that's upgrading, maybe different school districts, different neighborhoods, bigger home, maybe a house with a pool. There's many reasons for that. Someone wanting to upgrade. Another is people that are moving, staying locally. They like the neighborhood, though, just they don't feel right. They don't feel at home in their current home, and they're looking for that forever home. And they want to stay locally, and that's fine. We can help with that, and we'll go into certain aspects of that. Another is out of the area, right? And when I say out of the area, it could be, again, somewhere within California, right? And lastly, it's maybe out of the state. There's certain things we need to know if you were to sell and move elsewhere. What does that entail, right? With the California laws, right? So we'll cover those different types of relocation. And lastly here, winding down this video, is understanding the numbers, right? If you're watching this and you don't have your property paid for free and clear, we'll break down numbers as to what your current rates are, or, excuse me, your current rate is on your mortgage, what your current rate may be on your next property. And we'll look at that. And even if it's on your next property, maybe a little higher, we'll look at how it can still make sense by reviewing the following, the cost of money. What's the actual cost of money, right? Next is the appreciation factors. We'll look at what your current appreciation has been, let's say for the last 10, 15, 20 years in your current place, and what the appreciation factor may be in your next property. And if this is higher and your next property is higher, it may offset some of those additional costs. Another thing we'll look at is what we call the opportunity cost. Sometimes we think that we're saving money and we stick with the decision because we believe we're saving money. And in at face value, we are, right? If we think it at face value, in most cases, we are. Though behind that decision, there's what's called an opportunity cost. And sometimes we end up losing money when we think we're saving, right? So we'll look at how that plays out in these big decisions, right? The opportunity cost. And lastly is the reallocation of equity. How does that work? Here at Casa Bella Realty, as a manager, when I meet with our salespeople or real estate professionals in whichever department they work, I always remind them, we don't sell properties. We help people buy and sell properties. And we're here to make sure that we can mentor, coach you through the process. And one of that is understanding that we're not selling, we're reallocating. Because right now, if you have equity, which most of you do, statistically speaking, the majority of people in the United States, especially California, have a lot of equity, right? So it's the reallocation of the equity from this property to another. So we don't really see it as sell buy. I mean, that's what we call it, but it's reallocating equity. So again, today it's a mouthful, and it's an introductory video of this new series introducing our relocation service department and some of the topics that we will be covering. And what I encourage you to do is, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this video, again, this video is not about me. It's about the information we're going to share. And if you believe that you deserve the best and transparent and sincere information for yourself, I encourage you to subscribe and share this video, this channel with loved ones, because there's not too many places that I've been on YouTube, and there's a lot of good content, though there's very few where someone's going to be as transparent as we're looking to be. So fully take advantage of this, subscribe, and watch our next video as we start rolling out this new series. Thank you for your time, and I wish you the best.